So, my name is Ashley David, and I'm here to tell you guys a little bit about cats today. Basically, the most common thing you know about cats right now is that everyone's obsessed with them. But you truly can't know an obsession about cats until you've spent your whole life around them, which is something I have done. I've either raised cats my entire life or been around them because a lot of family members have them. And currently right now, we are taking care of 3 cats. These are those 3 guys right there. They're kind of cruddy quality pictures because my mom has a flip phone, but it's all we could do for short notice for pictures. But after spending so much time with cats, I've kind of come to realize that they're a really interesting creature, and they do a lot of weird things that kind of make it hard to understand what kind of animal they are. So I've come to learn that even if you never own a cat in your lifetime, or you hate cats or something like that, at some point in your life you'll come in contact with one, whether it be going to a friend's house or just walking along the street. So there's some important things you need to know about cats, which is that they are intelligent creatures, they behave in diverse ways, and they can often be territorial animals. So, cats are very intelligent creatures, and although you can't train them to sit like a dog, they do adapt and learn different ways and a variety of different things. One of these things is that they're often known to chase laser pointers around and chase small toys, but you don't want to let that silly act fool you. Mike Clark said that this childlike behavior that cats do is their way of learning. It's similar to that of a toddler. They're playing with their toys to interact with the environment and carry on with their activities as predators. So they're hunting the toys that are around the house. It's the same way as a child would do as if they're playing with a toy that teaches them numbers or letters, or they're playing with different kind of toys that involve them moving around the house and getting to know where they live. Now, cats also adapt really easily to different environments, and this goes for their acts of meowing, rubbing against things, and reaching out to them. Melissa Dahl said that many people think meows are classic cat behavior, which it is, but it's something that cats have learned to do over time because they only do it with humans. It's their way of talking to you, telling you, hey, I need something, hey, come pay attention to me. And it's kind of the same thing that they do when they reach out to things or they rub up against different items, such as sometimes they rub against your leg, or they'll randomly rub against a chair, just kind of random things that they do. It's simply meaning they want your attention. So, intelligence kind of goes hand in hand with their behavior. Depending on the intelligence level of the cat, their behavior is sometimes different. And one of these things it involves is purring, which Melissa Dahl also talks about in her article. Purring is something that cats have learned to further do for different meanings. We think it means they're happy, which it does, but in a sense it actually means please don't leave me. Cats have no common way in their language of telling you that they're hurt or upset. So this is their way of telling you, stay by my side, I need you right now, and humans react to that. We all think it's a positive noise when sometimes it necessarily isn't. Now, with cats, they also have different ways of expressing themselves other than purring and things like that. And this involves things like their tails and their ears. So the most important things with those is that when a cat's tail is bristled or arched up like the cat in the little corner there, because he's cute, but when they act like that, you obviously know they're angry, they're scared, and you should avoid them. If you reach out to a cat who's just been spooked or is angry, you might get clawed back. Now, there's also instances when the cat's just hanging out and the tail's just kind of up in the air. It's a content cat, it's a cat you can approach, it's someone you can hang out with. And also with their ears, when a cat's ears are bent backwards and things like that, it means they're in a defense mode kind of thing. It may not mean they're angry or anything like that, but it does mean they're kind of worried about the situation. And then when the cat's ears are forward, all perked up, it means they're interested. They want to hear what you have to say, kind of thing. So cats' behavior also mixes with being territorial, and there's 2 different types of bunting. But there's behavioral bunting and territorial bunting, which I'll get to in just a minute. But behavioral bunting, or bunting in general, is the act of the cat rubbing their head against you. Behavioral bunting involves them rubbing the top of their heads, usually about the area between the ears, against you. They rub it against chairs, your hand, items, doors, everything. It's kind of their attention-getting thing. It's a behavior they've learned to do just because you'll notice them rubbing against you, you'll notice them. Like, pay attention to me, stop reading your book, get off your laptop, like, look at me. So jumping into territorial, there's also territorial marking, which, according to Pam Johnson-Bennett, the most common form of territorial marking for cats is the lip rubbing bunting. Now, this isn't them actually just like rubbing their lips on you, things like that. It's given that name because the cat is using the side of their mouth usually, because the mouth holds the most scent receptors of a cat. So they won't rub it against as many things as they would if they were behavioral bunting, but they will rub it against things such as your hand, an item, simply saying, hey, I like this thing, this is mine, stay away. So with cats being territorial animals, they're not really aggressive in their territorial, but they often don't like new things in their place, especially when it's the only animal in the house. So one of these things to understand is that when you have a guest in the house and they instantly want to pet your animal, sometimes it's best to tell them to, hey, back off for a little bit, let him come out, he's hiding, he's scared. Or if you are to go out and get a new pet or bring in a new child to the home, you'll have to follow kind of the introduction process. So what that is basically supervised time with the cat and the new animal or the new person. You kind of want to watch them because you gotta let the cat adjust to them, open up to them, and be kind to them. Make sure there's not going to be any like hissing or things like that. When you're not having them together, it's best to lock them in a separate part of the house, or if it's a child, keep them in a room where the cat doesn't really go that often, or stick with them, kind of things like that. So now that I've covered everything for you guys, I'm going to go through a little recap, kind of help you understand the whole thing better. So cats are intelligent creatures, and they often do really silly things, but this is just them adapting to their life. They'll talk to you in many different ways, whether this be through meows or communicate with purring in their behavior. They also have very, very weird body language. Their tail and their ears can tell you everything, but as long as you know the main important ones of a bristled tail or bent back ears, you should be safe in understanding whether or not you could approach the cat. And lastly, they are often territorial, but they're not aggressive in their nature unless they were raised that way for some reason. So just understand that a cat needs time to adjust to you and things like that. Because like I said before, you guys may never own a cat. You may be sitting here thinking, I hate cats. Why is she talking about this right now? But at some point in your life, you'll probably go over to a friend's house, a family member, and they'll have a cat because it is one of the most common household pets that you see nowadays. So it's best to understand if you're capable of approaching them or if you're going to get clawed in the process. So that's all I have for you.